Hi, this is Working Dad Trader. The dad that is trying to make a better future for my family. I'm working full time and I have a regular job, and I'm trying to trade my way to build our family wealth and make us in a better position. And you can too. In this video, we are looking at the media attention at the minute of the SP 500 in the stock market. Is it going to crash? There's a lot of stuff out there on the media saying that it's overextended, it's overbought, it's way too high and it's due a crash. In this video, I'm going to give you my own personal opinions, what I think is going to happen. So let's check it out. Okay, so when I look on the media, on the internet, on the TV, all I've been reading and seeing is people saying that the stock market is going to crash again. The stock market is overextended, it's overbought, and there's going to be another massive crash. One example here is from the Monty Fall online. And this guy on the 1st of December was saying 4 reasons why the stock market could crash again over the next 3 months. There seems to be a lot of this sort of thing going on. And with that, I sort of agree to a point and disagree with that the stock market is going to crash. I mean, a massive stock market crash like we've had would have to be a crash of 20%, which would become a bear market. We've only just had one in February, March, so I do not believe that we would have another one just yet. So if we look at some of the history of bull and bear markets, this chart shows obviously the red is the bear markets and sort of when they've happened, and the blue ones are the bull markets. Obviously the one in 220 is not on there, but we've only had about 10 bear markets since 1926. Obviously that was the 2008 one, and I've sort of gone through this in a previous video. So I don't believe that we will be getting another bear market, which would have to, the S&P and the stock market would have to drop at least 20% to be classed as a bear market. So I believe history, looking back, is sort of on the side of it's not going to happen. I would more look at on the chart of the S&P 500 now. It's possible that it's slightly overbought, and I do believe that at some point we might have a correction, but a correction is obviously can be quite a healthy thing. It could even be as much as a 10% drop on the stock market. But it is just a correction, not a crash, and I think people are getting over sort of worried and carried away. Remember, the stock market doesn't just go up in a straight line, it goes up in waves, and as this goes on all the way back to May. As you can see, it's gone up, it's reached its peak, it needed to come back to correct itself to get some more energy. It's gone up again, it's gone back down to correct itself, it's gone up, and then we needed quite a big correction to get some up again. It's gone down and it's up again. So yes, it might well correct itself anytime soon and go down, possibly 2%, 10%. But to me, there's lots of signs that the S&P will keep on going up. I mean, if you just look at the trends, and I always believe the sort of trend is your friend. If you look at the moving averages, the blue line is to 50, the red is the 100, and the yellow is the 150. They're all all still fanned out quite nicely, moving in an upward direction. The 50 is above the 100 and the 100 is above the 150, which that is the trend. That's a clear upward trend. The black line that I put onto the chart, to me, was sort of previous resistance, where it sort of hit that level and had to come back down and hit it again and came back down, and eventually it managed to break through this level, and then it sort of became a bit of support. So it's quite possible at some point the S&P will correct itself down and maybe hit again this support level of around about 3,540. That is more than, there's quite a good chance of that happening, but I would not say that's a market crash. That would just be hitting that support level, correcting itself, and recharging to go up again. So that would be one of the reasons why I don't believe we're going to have a market crash. It's just my opinion. Another reason why I don't think there will be a crash would be at the moment the interest rates are being kept low around the world, especially in the US. The interest rates are being kept low by the Fed at 0%. So that will encourage a lots of companies out there to borrow money cheaply, to make the stock market. Companies get stronger and borrow more. Also, the inflation rate, the Fed are saying that they're going to try and keep it above 2%. And how will that affect things? I think a lot of people will be looking to where they can put their money, and I'm talking the sort of 1% of the world that are the super rich. Would they want to put it in a bank where interest rates are really, really low? You're talking a lot just above 0% interest rates, when inflation is above interest. So if you, for example, how would that affect your money? For every £100 at a 0% interest rate, and you're having to incur 2% inflation year after year, basically after 1 year, that £100 or $100, in 12 months' time, that's sort of the same buying power, the equivalent of $98. So really, you're losing money keeping your money in a bank when the interest rates are so low, and the Fed are trying to keep the inflation rate at 2% and above. Then keeping it in a bank would be a bad idea, because your money is going to just decrease in value over time. People also look at putting it into Treasury Bonds, and if you look at the current rates of the Treasury Bonds at the moment, for a 10-year yield, we're looking at 0.92%, which is not a great return, especially if you count into, again, with 2% inflation, again, really you're losing money. The UK is not much better with its 10-year yield. Ten-year yield for a UK Treasury government bond is looking at 0.22%, which again is pretty poor. So probably people are not going to be looking to put their money into Treasury bonds, as they are not really giving them much interest back. So they're going to be looking at still, I would say, the stock market, because you still can easily get 8-10% a year from putting your money into the stock market, and it sort of outweighs putting your money into Treasury bonds or bonds. or leaving it in the bank. So this money is going to be pouring into the stock market. It was why I think another reason that the S&P will still keep going up. There's also the next is that the vaccines coming out now. So I believe next year, 2021, with the vaccines starting to come in around the world, that will push confidence and get things moving again, trying to slowly get economies going again. And we also have the stimulus package still to be sorted out in the US, but at some point that will get sorted out, and we're talking billions and billions of pounds being pumped into the US market. So why the US market has been just flooded with dollars, I can only see that again pushing the S&P 500 up. So there are some of the reasons why I believe that saying that the market is going to crash is, I think, being scaremongering personally. Like I say, there could well be a correction, and you need to be aware of that. If anything, if there is a sort of a 10% correction, then it's obviously another good time to buy companies, but focus on definitely undervalued, fundamentally strong businesses, not just throw your money at anything. There's a lot of sort of companies out there to do that. Look at the main ones, which would do fine. Amazon, Facebook, Apple, Google, for example. Strong companies that have weathered the pandemic. And throughout the last 12 months, they're the biggest sort of companies of the S&P 500, and most of the growth has come from those big tech companies that have pushed the S&P 500 up. And I think that will continue into 2021. That's why I'm not too worried. If we look at some of the biggest companies in the S&P 500, there we are: Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, all companies that have done well this year in the S&P 500, and they will carry on doing well. So if there is a slight correction in the market and some of those companies drop 5-10%, then it could be possible opportunities to buy into some of these companies going forward. So that would be my take on it. People will argue that, yes, but the economy, look at the economies are crashing, businesses are closing, there's job losses everywhere. How can you say that there's not going to be another crash? But the stock market is not the economy, it's a completely different thing, and the stock market looks forward and can see things sort of 12-18 months into the future. And you got to look at another way as well. Yes, there's lots of these businesses closing down, especially on the retail market. But then you look at the big companies in the S&P 500. A lot of these retailers are closing their doors. It's just going to drive more business to people like Amazon, and other things going on, with more and more things go online. It's only going to pour more money into Microsoft, into Apple, into Google. So that's how I would look at it. Yes, it's bad that these businesses are shutting their doors and they're going broke, but other companies will profit from this. So you have to sort of look at both sides of the coin, and people, like I said, like Amazon, just on the retail, will benefit and just make more and more money. So if you've got shares in Amazon, they're only going to go up as more and more companies shut down. So that's how I would look at it personally. So don't get freaked out if there is a correction. It's going to be fine. A 10% correction, like I said, could happen, and it might not always a bad thing. That could also be really good buying opportunities. But remember, always, if you're a long-term investor like myself, to invest in strong, fundamentally strong businesses with really good balance sheets, really good financial information. Check it out and do your homework and invest in, like I say, strong companies, and you'll be fine. If you found stuff in this video really useful, then please remember to give me a like. It really helps my channel. And if you want to see more videos from myself, then remember to subscribe. Okay, so I hope to see you in the next video. Take care.